Hello, how's it going? So today I'm going to be talking about a article that I read a little over a month ago. I'm pruning like other channels do it and they get views. So I'm going to be doing a little bit of pruning here. I just want to reflect on and talk about the top 100 iconic guitars of all time. Not guitarists, but actual physical guitars. So I'm going to be talking about that. The list, I'm not going to go over every single one because there was over 100 of them. There was even some guitarists that I didn't know. I'm sure if any of you ever looked at that list too, or looked at a list similar to it, you'd be also agreeing that some of the guitarists on there you don't know, or the ones that they featured, like, okay, I know who that is, but it's not really an incredible guitarist. Or even if it was a best guitarist list, you'd be like, you're going to be disagreeing with the list anyways. Most people would. Most people have their own thoughts and ideas of who is the top guitarist and or most iconic guitars. So this whole concept here is the most iconic guitars. So it's kind of guitar that you look at, distinguishedly look at it and say, oh, that's Eddie Van Halen's guitar right there. Or that's this person's guitar, or you relate to a specific guitarist because of that guitar. Now there's a lot of like similar guitars out there that look the same, like any kind of like Fender Stratocaster or a Gibson Les Paul. So when you think of the Gibson Les Paul, a lot of guitarists come to mind. Jimmy Page, Jeff Beck, Joe Perry, and Ace Frehley. And also Zakk Wylde, Slash, and Tom Kiefer. Alright, so yes, I have it written down here on paper because I can't remember all of these names specifically all in a row. Once again, it's top 100 list. I'm going to be going down through some of the ones that I agree with or really disagree with or think are really corny. So this is a quick flash through of the list of the top 100. I'm going to give you the specific ones that I really agree with and or disagree with. Number 88 is Zakk Wylde with his 1981 Gibson. So I agree with that. Of course, 88, that's kind of weird. Here's why I'm keep on wanting to say 1988. Ironically, it was in 1988 when No Rest for the Wicked came out, and I first heard of Zakk Wylde. Of course, the guitar in Miracle Man, that whole riff and everything is awesome. So it's ironic that they have Zakk Wylde at number 88. Number 86 is the Billy Gibbons Dean Z Fur guitar. I guess that's kind of an iconic guitar because people see that. People who know ZZ Top, once again. Once people see that, they're like, oh yeah, that's Billy Gibbons' guitar. It's the guitar that ZZ Top used and played. And if you like ZZ Top. Next on the list is number 82, it's Nancy Wilson Gibson SG. Now it's kind of good. It's another kind of odd, weird one because when you think of a Gibson SG, you definitely think of it. Alright, number 79 is the Prince. I don't even know how to say this word. Forgive me. I don't give a shit. I don't know how to pronounce it. At number 79, it's the Prince Jerry Arlwald guitar. It's that corny symbol that he had as his name. That symbol where people like, how the hell do you pronounce that? So people didn't know how to pronounce that corny ass symbol, so they're just like, okay, let's just call him the artist formerly as Prince. He did a lot of freaking screwed up shit. So yeah, the Jerry Arlwald guitar. I don't know why I didn't dig into it. Is that the guy who invented the guitar? I mean, that specific symbol, or what the heck ever? I have no really idea. It's just confusing. It's something that's just totally screwed up. And yes, when you see it, that is iconic. Symbol that it came up shaped guitar. It's an iconic one because people see that and they just relate it to something stupid. Next. Number 68, Rick Nielsen's 1981 Hammer 5-neck guitar. That one I definitely agree with because that's another one, along with the checkered, black and white checkered Explorer that he had and the checkered stuff that they use, Cheap Trick, you're like, oh yes, that's Rick Nielsen's guitar right there. So that one I totally agree with too. The Dean ML from Hell. Of course, once Dean became big, once Diamond Darrell became big, he had a bunch of different, like, guitars made and with different, prints, patterns, whatever the heck you want to call them, all kinds, from the ones the number 53 is the Buddy Guy Fender Strat guitar that he had that was polka dot, which is kind of weird because then people think of Randy Rhoads' Jackson Flying V that was polka dot. So was Randy Rhoads influenced by Buddy Guy, or did he kind of just sample that, or they just used it and he wasn't even thinking of it? Who the heck knows? But I agree with that one because Buddy Guy, even though I don't really listen to like a lot of blues players, Buddy Guy is definitely one of those other good guitar players that was a good guitarist. St. Vincent, Ernie Ball Music Man. That's kind of a weird one because when I see St. Vincent, Ernie Ball Music Man, I kind of lean towards more remember and think of Vinnie Vincent with the Flying V, that hot pink guitar that Vinnie Vincent had. That's a little bit more iconic to me, I guess. T, definitely agree with. Chuck Berry should be on the list there. And B.B. King's Lucille, that big black Gibson that he played at number 4. That's definitely something I agree with. Number 3, the Eddie Van Halen Frankenstein. 2, Willie Nelson 69 Martin N20. And the number 1, the 1965 Fender for Jimi Hendrix. I kind of agree with the list and I kind of don't. I think that, people like B.B. King should be on the list, and Chuck Berry, because they were hugely influential to other rock guitarists out there. They definitely had that distinguished sound, they had that look, and they're really innovators, that's for sure. The Eddie Van Halen Frankenstein guitar, definitely iconic. I mean, it's definitely a piece of crap guitar thing that he thrown together, but how Eddie presented it and played it and what he did with that guitar was just amazing. That guitar pattern and everything, I don't think really would have went anywhere if he was just some like rhythm player in the band. That just really would have never taken off. It was Eddie's playing, an iconic playing, that really catapulted, that whole image and that guitar is just iconic. I mean, there's just replicas all over now, and it's just all over the place. That's why that one uses specifically as the Tapestry, because I'm not specifically talking about the Frankenstein just in this video and just that alone. And of course, it's just an iconic guitar pattern. I really love it. It's an awesome one. And of course, Jimi Hendrix, once again, the Fender Stratocaster that he played was cool and neat, but like Malmsteen plays them, and so many other guitarists play Fender Strats and everything. So it's hard to actually say what guitars are iconic. You take any of the guitarists that are on this list, and you look at them, and you show any person that's a musician that's into rock music and say, whose guitar is this? They'd be like, well, there's a lot of people that play that Fender. There's a lot of people that play like a Gibson like that, Gibson Les Paul. So I'm going to give you my list of specific ones. Iconic, even though Mustaine only uses a little bit, is Dave Mustaine's Jackson Flying V with the Rust in Peace album cover across the guitar. That one is really cool and iconic, but I think that one is just, it's not one that he mainly uses. He uses it for a couple of pictures to promote it, and he played it on tour several times. Guitars that are really iconic and something that's recognizable and that you see and you go, yeah, it's theirs, is the Michelangelo Badio 4-neck quad neck guitar that he had. That's for sure. And then the Rocket, the 29 fret aircraft aluminum guitar that he had. Those guitars I think are iconic. And then of course the Steve Vai's Hydra, which came out a couple of years ago. I forgot specifically. But something he was working on with for a while before finally building one. The Steve Vai Hydra guitar is definitely an iconic one. There could be other people who are going to try to copy that. Of course, it is available now for sale, which is a ridiculous, crazy price for like at $7,000 and really expensive. They're really heavy. I mean, who the heck's going to really be able to afford one of those? And or even want one. I mean, I would love to play one in a store, and I said this before in my Steve Vai video, and get a picture with me holding it, but I would just never even buy one. I mean, I'd love to have one for like a week and mess around with it and everything. But so those are, I think, are the top iconic guitars. But anyways, that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Once again, there's all kinds of cool guitars out there. They all sound cool to me. It doesn't matter what they look like. What matters is the sound and, of course, who's playing them. And there's been all kinds of cool and awesome music created with all kinds of guitars.